Hello everybody, just before we start the video of the day, I just wanted to put this out that this comment came in. Thank you so much again, viewer, and because I've had some very strange answers where people actually believe that you can lose 6-8 foot and not see it. You'd have to cut the house out of the ground. You'd have to be cut in because it's a different height at the front than it is at the back. Please, anyway, I'm so glad. This is the same person from the video last night, so I'm so glad that your husband understands all this. Mwah! Here we go, one of our viewers here on Unscrambled. Hello, my darling.
Hello, Karen.
Hello, my darling. Yes, you've been watching the latest video. It's very difficult, all that, you know, like I actually hate doing it, but I also just feel that there should have been a lot, well, obviously we weren't told, we're just not given the right information, that's what I see.
Oh, me too. Everything is so wrong. It's not the right information at all. Nothing makes any sense. It doesn't follow any of how something would really turn out. It's just
thing is, we didn't actually ask for this information, did we? I mean, I was really shocked when all the names and addresses came out because, like I put it in the other video, you might not have liked Nicole Kissinger, but she was on us supposedly some kind of protection thing. So even if he's put in prison, it doesn't matter. She was still on it. And that means that no one should have known her details. They must have realised that people were going to hate her and blame her.
Yes.
So what? So basically, what? So nowadays, is that the punishment? Oh, if you do a crime, your whole family's information, everybody's emails, addresses, telephone numbers are going to be put out. I don't think so.
That's crazy. I've never seen anything like that before.
Me neither.
Putting everybody's names, addresses, and phone numbers, and dates of birth, and everything. Never seen that.
Me neither. I've never seen that amount of information. But not just that, you know, like we were just talking about this case with the comment, and I've just made the video. But something else this video is more about is that he supposedly told everybody in this interview, which I will add in, that basically he laid shenanigans with the poor little girls on the way to their misery. Had to sit with their legs dangling on top of their mum.
Oh, that's terrible.
Can we talk about the trash bags? Do you remember that?
Oh, with
There were two.
Oh, with okay. Yes. Trying to, because like she kept. I didn't want to, like when I was putting the one coherent, I guess, thing I had, like I didn't want the girls looking at Shanann while they were in the back seat.
So what'd you do?
I put a trash bag on one end and on her feet and on her head, so they didn't have to see.
And they were just too little to kind of figure out, right?
They weren't too young. They already knew something was very wrong. Chris Watts tells us that.
Shanann in the truck. So she was kind of following you? Okay. So she followed you and you put Shanann in the truck. Okay. And then what?
Put my lunchbox and stuff in the truck, and then grab the kids and I put them.
He doesn't know what he's doing. He says he's been taken over, but he remembers to pick his lunchbox up. Okay.
So Shanann, is she kind of on the floor in the back? And they're just on the bench. Okay. And both alive at that point. Okay. Is there any reason you would feel uncomfortable to tell me that they were not alive at that point?
Okay. Wasn't it a video or anything?
It's hard to see. Okay. And I believe you. I'm just I'm trying to make sure that I'm giving you all the opportunities to be comfortable enough to tell me exactly.
I actually think, even though you can't actually see the child, that the shadow that comes in and he comes in and scoops up is very clear. He's here, and that shadow was over here going across this way, when he is coming across this way, it is going that way. So I think the shadow was very clear. So why would Graham be saying it wasn't clear when it definitely is clear? I'm sorry, this bit of footage is enough to arrest someone anyway, especially as the children died and you can then see that shadow. There it is, and there comes his shadow, and there's the other shadow, and there's him scooping down and picking it up. I think it's pretty clear there was two shadows on the drive, and one was walking towards him and he scooped it up. Enough to arrest most people.
So then, once you get to the site, tell me what happens.
So I get to that one site and get Shanann out to that. Just go over to the part right outside the site there.
Okay.
And the girls are still in the truck.
Okay.
Did they ask you what you were doing, taking mommy out, or?
Yeah, I don't remember what I told them, but they did ask her.
What they say specifically?
It was more like, what are you doing to mommy?
Okay. And then is that when you buried her?
I don't remember if I dug a hole there first or, but they didn't watch me do that.
Okay. So then pulled Shanann out and she's maybe just sitting there on top of the ground?
Yeah, like off to the side.
Off to the side, close to where she ended up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. And then the girls, right? Okay. So then pulled Shanann out and she's maybe just sitting there on top of the ground?
I know it's still sketchy, right? And the fact he can remember his lunchbox, but he can't remember whether he dug her hole, took her out, all this kind of stuff. But look what happens in 2 to 6 hours. Rigor mortis sets in. So he basically had her lying in the footwell of the car. So why would Graham say she's sitting there? Wouldn't he say she's lying on the ground? No, he says she's sitting there as if she's sitting up. But basically, how did he get her into the fetal position? Even if she's just sitting there, rigor mortis is setting in. She would then have marks, all sorts of things on her body. They would know that she'd been pressured into this position after death. Does the autopsy say that? No. Does the discovery documents say it? No.
So then pulled Shanann out and she's maybe just sitting there on top of the ground?
Yeah, like off to the side.
Off to the side, close to where she ended up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. And then the girls, right? Okay. You mentioned Bella was first. Cece was first, okay. Where exactly was she when it happened?
In the back seat.
Okay. Was she just right next to Bella?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so
I felt her head moving back and forth.
You did?
But I didn't know that happened.
So he leaves Shanann sitting there, but it says 2 to 6 hours. Rigor mortis sets in. Floor, didn't she? But he laid her out. But when they actually picked her out of the ground, she was in the fetal position. So how would he?
Yeah.
When did he? He never talked about. Well, she was lying flat, and then I basically squashed her up to stick her in the hole. He never said that.
Exactly. That's right. That's right. So, what happened there? There's another piece of information that's not matching.
I'm sure if he wanted to be a bit more like graphic, that she might not have quite had rigor mortis set at that time, hours afterwards, a few hours, but surely things must have started to have happened.
Yes, I would think so.
So it wouldn't have just been easy, would it? If you've laid her out, sorry, it sounds horrible, doesn't it? Setting flat.
Yes, I know. Yes. Yeah, I think it would be hard to get her into a fetal position after that.
And don't forget, she was
really
what?
do.
Nearly, what was it? 16 weeks pregnant or getting on for?
Oh, I think that if she was laying flat like that, I don't know when the rigor mortis sets in, but maybe it isn't that fast. but how he would be able to get her into a fetal position, that I don't know.
Yeah, because don't forget, you know, sorry, it just sounds really bad when we're talking about this, but this is what we're talking about.
Yes.
You know, when
Yes.
someone is not alive, it's dead weight. It's a horrible expression, but dead weight it's heavier. It just is.
Yes,
And
it is.
they're not moving, so you've got to manoeuvre them yourself.
Exactly, and that is
He doesn't
really
mention
hard.
it, does he?
Yes. Oh my.
I'm a bit shocked in that interview when basically he asks if, like, they've just been talking about Bella gasping, and then he moves straight on to not Tammy, Nicole Atkinson turned up or whatever it was time, and that was it. How could you go from just learning that she was
I know.
I just don't get it.
I know, they just talk a little bit about something and they go change the subject to something else.
Is there any reason you would feel uncomfortable to tell me that they were not alive at that point?
Okay. Wasn't it a video or anything?
It's hard to see. Okay. And I believe you. I'm trying to make sure that I'm giving you all the opportunities to be comfortable enough to tell me exactly. So then, once you get to the site, tell me what happens.
So I get to that one site and I get Shanann out.
Oh my. Just talk a little bit about something and they go change the subject to something else.
It's so hard not to keep researching, isn't it? Because you know that things aren't quite right.
Exactly.
And so many people are sort of just hypnotised and think we're being nasty when actually we're just trying to tell everybody the truth.
Yes, that's right. I mean, for a while I saw a lot of things that didn't make sense, but I just was going along with it, and then it just got to the point that you can only see so many things that doesn't add up before you really start to question it.
But even down to the fact that not any of the pictures they showed us for the last video, did it have any tape around it?
No.
It wasn't like a scene, was it? We weren't looking at actually looking at a crime scene here. We were just looking at some stock.
Right.
But it just seems really strange that they actually.
Exactly. That's all it was. And I never studied it that much because it was.
Because you're believing,
horrible,
we
so
believe
I
what we're
didn't
being
really
told,
look
don't we?
anything about that. So.
Well, we believe what we're being told, don't we?
Exactly.
I mean, I don't think people understand. For about 7 months, I was really sorry and upset. And when people said horrible things about Shanann, I was really upset thinking what they'd gone through and the children. And then when those names and addresses came out, and those other things, there was just things. And then looking at the drive and the fact that the Discovery document says that he was only there for minutes, but actually we get a whole hour. We get different forms of light. People don't understand. We're in dark, going through all Twilight Zone into dawn, and basically when he leaves, the sun hasn't quite appeared, but we're almost into that kind of thing. Yeah, it's still early in the morning, but we've got light. It's just completely different. How can that happen in 10 minutes? Has anybody ever had dawn, dark till dawn in 10 minutes?
In 10 minutes, that's right.
Even this bit on the Discovery document is really strange, because what it says is that he was only there for 10 minutes. 10 minutes! He was there for 10 minutes. On here it actually says that Nate's camera turned off. It turned off! So, 10 minutes. How can we go from dark to dawn, to nearly sunlight in 10 minutes? We can't. It's totally impossible. But this officer's the one that did where the Rushak signed, and they signed the wrong name and the wrong date. Something very strange about the information here on this document. But how can it be so different when we get a video for an hour and basically he was on there for 10 minutes? Now, either the videos are wrong completely, or the Discovery document is wrong. You can go and find this on page 488 of the Discovery document. So again, the discovery document's wrong. And what's his name? Bohomer. What's his name? That police officer? No, he's the
Yes.
one. He's the one on yours because the Rushaks signed their wrong names and the wrong date.
Yes, that's right.
He's the same officer that oversaw that, so he's made some drastic mistakes.
Yes, very drastic mistakes. That I think is very sloppy to have mistakes like that. And they just try to explain everything away, and you can't. And I mean, nobody really...
If they'd said to us, we're going to give you a little bit of information, but we are withholding the rest due to the horrendous
Yes,
whatever,
of
that would have been
course.
different. But they didn't do that. They've given us
I
autopsies,
know,
police
everything.
videos. Well, we already know what I've done with
Yes.
those, don't you? I've broken them down. I mean, I can see something different. I can see them working off the television and all sorts of things going on. Or you see people heads coming out of their heads, little heads,
Oh,
and
yes.
well, it just goes on the list of things that are wrong with personal and the other videos.
Right. Oh, I know.
Well, we keep researching, everybody, and I'm so appreciative
Yes.
of people like you who send me information, even the person who wrote the comment for the video that was put out today. People are sending me stuff, and I'm sure you've got more for me, haven't you?
Yes.
Anyway, we've been going for about 8 minutes now. Do you think that's enough? But just that we're just... The bit now that I just don't understand when you actually think about it is how was she laid out flat in the car, but she was in a fetal
Right.
position in the grave. That's what this video is more about. So I'm going to put in a little bit of explaining that, yes, she was laid flat. He doesn't explain how he gets her into the fetal position or anything. I know
That's
this is
right.
disastrous and horrible, everybody, and it's got children and supposedly people in it. But they're giving it to us. They're giving it to
Yes.
us, telling us that this is the way it is, and this is what, showing us, and it just, anyway.
Terrible.
It is. Anyway, we will keep going, won't we? We will keep going, won't we? So,
Yes. Yes.
thank you so much for your input, and I'm just
you're
going to put a
welcome.
bit,
Thank you.
about the actual bit when he's saying that he's laid her flat. I will have included this in this video.
Yes.
Anyway, we will speak again soon.
Yes. I guess we will.
Mwah.
Mwah.